In the beginning, God created a beautiful world. In the heart of it was the Garden of Eden, a place of perfect peace and harmony. Adam and Eve lived there without fear, pain, or sorrow. They walked with God and enjoyed every good thing He had given them. God gave Adam and Eve freedom to enjoy the garden and eat from its many trees. But He gave them one command. They were not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God warned them that disobedience would bring serious consequences. One day, Eve found herself near the forbidden tree. The fruit looked beautiful and desirable. What had once been easy to avoid now seemed difficult to ignore. Temptation often begins when our attention lingers on something we know we should avoid. Then, the serpent approached Eve. More cunning than any other creature, he questioned God's command. He planted seeds of doubt in her mind, suggesting that God was withholding something good from her. The serpent's words took root. Eve looked again at the fruit. It seemed pleasing to the eye and desirable for gaining wisdom. A battle was taking place within her heart between trusting God and following her own desires. Instead of turning away, Eve reached out her hand and took the fruit. In that moment, temptation became action. What had begun as a simple thought had now become disobedience. Eve ate the fruit. Nothing seemed different at first, but everything had changed. Sin had entered the world through a choice to ignore God's instruction. Eve then offered the fruit to Adam. Though he knew God's command, Adam chose to eat as well. Together they made a decision that would affect not only themselves, but all future generations. Immediately, Adam and Eve became aware of their nakedness. Shame and guilt replaced their innocence. They hurried to cover themselves, realizing that something precious had been lost. When they heard God walking in the garden, Adam and Eve hid among the trees. The close relationship they once enjoyed with their Creator had been damaged by their disobedience. Fear had replaced fellowship. God called out to them and confronted what had happened. Adam and Eve confessed their actions, and God explained the consequences of their choices. Sin always carries a cost. What seemed like a small act of disobedience had brought suffering into a once perfect world. Adam and Eve were sent out of the Garden of Eden. An angel stood guard at its entrance, preventing their return. Paradise was lost because they chose to follow temptation instead of trusting God. The story of Adam and Eve teaches an important truth. Temptation rarely appears dangerous at first. It often disguises itself as something attractive, harmless, or beneficial. But when we choose to ignore God's wisdom and follow our own desires, consequences follow. The fall of Adam and Eve reminds us that every choice matters. True freedom is not found in disobedience, but in trusting and obeying God.